Paperback writer.
Ah, yes, we have the original paperback writer with us, and you have a sequel, Melissa Bowersack. Nice to have you on again.
Thanks for having me back.
So a sequel being Travis. Now this is just coming out when now?
Actually, I think I released it in late June. It's hard to remember because this is the third book this year.
I tell you, what? You must have been just like writing and not getting them out, and then all of a sudden they just shoot out.
No,
like that.
I actually write them. It takes a couple of months to do the editing and the tweaking and everything and get the cover ready, and then they're out. So, yeah.
Wow. So being Travis, okay, now it's a sequel to this one,
Right.
Finding Travis.
Finding Travis is when he first goes back in time to 1877.
Because it's a time traveler. You can see I am only halfway through, so we're not going to give like the ending away to anybody.
No.
We don't like to give the endings away. But I say this is so fascinating because Travis is this guy who does reenactments at Fort Verde,
Fort Verde.
in Camp Verde.
Right.
And then all of a sudden,
Yep.
you know,
He's
there's
back
a
there.
special something that happens, and he ends up in the real time of when the fort, before it was a fort, when it's
Right.
still Camp
Verde.
Verde.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is where the name for Camp Verde came from, is my guess.
Yes, I
Yes.
think you're right.
But all of a sudden, the trees are different, the buildings are different, and it's so cute because he's just kind of like this in our time in 2016. He's just sort of this guy who does this and does that, and he's done a little medic stuff.
Yeah, he's a kind of an underachiever, hasn't really found his niche.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when he ends up in 1877, it's like, oh, the new doctor is here, yay! And he finds people he has to treat. I love this part. I love where he's like, oh my heavens, we've got to find some antibacterials here for these people because they're dying.
Yeah, and they've got nothing for medicine. I mean, their medical knowledge is zilch.
Yeah, what they
you know?
actually have is amputation. They have
Right.
lots of bone saws and
Right.
gross things like that because they can't fix an infection, so they just cut the limb off.
Right.
How did you research this, Melissa?
Oh, well, online. That's the great thing. You're writing along, and all of a sudden I go, oh, what about this? And Google it, and you got it. Yeah.
It's changing book writing.
It is. It is. I mean, it used to be you had to haul your butt down to the library, or go buy a book or something. Now you just Google it and you're good to go.
I tell
of course,
you, it's
have
such a word.
You just have to verify, make sure that you're getting good information. There's a lot of bad information
Sure,
on there
but
too.
you can't. I mean,
Yeah.
that's actually
Yeah.
possible to do that. But it's just so fascinating. That's, I think, the part I'm enjoying the most is the fact that he's telling his striker, his military aide, to, go down in the cellar and see if you can find like moldy fruit and bread. And the guy's going, okay, boss,
I know.
But it's just really, really interesting. And of course, I'm at the spot where he's stuck in 1877. We don't know if he's going to be doing anything else. If he's going to be getting back to 2016, we don't know. But so far, he's adjusting to,
yes.
100 plus years ago.
Yeah.
But having that knowledge has got to be hard because you can't expose your cards. You can't let people know that you're literally 138 years older than they are.
Right.
Something.
Right. Because who's going to believe it?
Yeah, you'd just be a kook, and they would put you in the brig, and that would be like over.
Yeah.
So the sequel.
So the sequel is the continuing adventures, and I don't want to give too much away, but the adventure does continue, and again, it's pitting his future knowledge against the actuality of the time, and it's tough to kind of keep a balance there.
Well, I guess so, because it's almost like being a pathological liar. You have to remember what in the devil you said before,
Yes,
so that you can not, mess up your story later on. And he's got to make up a whole background for himself.
He does.
Because, I mean, the scary part for this in me was when he first meets the commander of the base of Camp Verde, and he said, now where are you coming from? He's like, oh gosh, it's got to be really far away, or someplace they wouldn't know, because this is 1877, so, in Arizona they may not know all the towns in Massachusetts or the schools or whatever, so, he has to make up a whole history for himself and then remember it.
Yeah, and then luckily, communications at the time took forever, so luckily they can't verify it. If it was nowadays, you just Google it, But since in 1877, it's going to take weeks to get letters back and forth, so he's in the clear that way. Nobody can
Sure.
tell that he's telling lies.
Well, in some ways, kind of lucky because when he gets there, there's this opening for a surgeon. They are expecting a surgeon, so they assume he's the surgeon. So then he has to figure out how to be the surgeon, which is clever. But just think if he could have just been like the horse stall cleaner.
Yeah.
Opening, it would have been really boring. So I'm glad that you got Travis into a good job, you know,
Yeah.
where it's really interesting in terms of, I mean, he understands germs. They don't understand germs or contagion
Right.
or sterilization or antibacterial, you know, none of this medicine kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
anyway, it's just really, I have to say, Melissa, you're an interesting writer. You just get right in here from page one. It's easy reading, and you are there. It's not like, and I tend, because I'm like a writer and stuff, I tend to analyze writing or be critical of, and yours just doesn't need that kind of thing because you just get in. It's very open, very warm, interesting writing, and you're just there, man, in 1877 and wondering what in the devil is this boy going to do? And he's a handsome boy now. See, with Finding Travis, you see he's got his Union outfit on because we were in the Union at Camp Verde in 1877.
Yep.
You know, I mean, I think Lincoln wanted us to do that. He was a little nervous about us turning Confederate. Even though it was after the Civil War, there was still a sentiment kind of a thing going on.
Yeah.
So we were strongly the blue and gold.
Yes, yes.
But I see the cover's a little different on this one.
Because now he's homesteading a ranch up on Oak Creek. So
and he may have a girlfriend. I'm just saying. I'm not sure, but he may have a girlfriend or a wife.
There may be some romance in there.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. I'm kind of seeing there's a possibility. There's not many women on the frontier, you know.
Not a lot.
And most of them are married or, you know, old maids or whatever, which is hilarious because you hit 30, you are never getting married. You're like over the hill. So it's hilarious.
Might as well put your cap on your head and just go sit in the corner.
But not so now. So Travis may have a different view on that.
He does, yes.
Oh,
yes.
All right. And so this research of finding out, I mean, because are you a volunteer at Fort Verde?
I do volunteer, not as much as my husband does. He's the main one, but we do the candlelight tours at Christmas time. We dress in the period costume.
Which is where this starts out.
Yes, exactly.
In Finding Travis. Okay, well, I love this. Okay, now what does corn have to do with finding or being Travis?
Well, this coming weekend is Cornfest in Camp Verde. And the whole thing of Cornfest is celebrating Hauser Farms corn, which is the best sweet corn in the entire world. This is not a vegetable, this is dessert.
Oh, sweet corn. That's why they got sweet corn.
This is to die for.
Love it. Okay,
Yes.
so that's going to be there. I know we have a little flyer for that, but you will be there with Finding Travis and Being Travis.
With Travis at the fort. I'm going to be set up at the fort from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. both Friday and Saturday, selling and signing my books.
Wonderful.
So, and the nice thing is that people can then walk through the fort and
see what you're talking about.
And
They'll
be where
picture
Travis
it.
was. Yes.
They will picture it in their heads when they read the books, which is fun. I mean, even though you draw great pictures with your books.
Thank you.
All right, Melissa Bowersock, you can see her at the Camp Verde Cornfest this weekend. Yay, Saturday and Sunday.
Friday and Saturday.
Friday and Saturday. My mistake. Sweet corn too, and books. Thanks, Melissa.
Thank
Great to have
you.
you on again. We'll be right back.